Welcome everyone to another video. Today's video is going to be a little special because we'll be focusing entirely on how to take care of your orchid plants. Whether you're brand new to orchids or you've been growing them for years, this guide will give you practical steps and helpful tips to keep your plants thriving. We'll go through everything step by step, from watering correctly to making a simple homemade fertilizer to cleaning the leaves and protecting your orchids from pests. By the end of this video, you'll see just how easy and enjoyable orchid care can be. So grab your plant, settle in, and let's get started. What I have here is a fairly grown orchid. You can tell right away just by looking at the stacking leaves. Each new layer sits neatly on top of the last, showing that this plant has been growing steadily over time. Despite its size, it's still very healthy. The leaves are firm and green, with no major signs of stress, and the roots are holding strong inside the pot. This is a good example of how orchids can continue to thrive as they mature, as long as we give them the right care. A grown orchid like this may look a little intimidating to beginners, but don't worry, the basic care is still the same. With the right watering routine, a bit of feeding and regular cleaning, it can stay in great condition and reward us with bloom season after season. We'll start with the most basic and important step, the watering routine. Orchids rely heavily on proper watering, and it's something every grower needs to get right. To make things more interesting today, we won't just care for this mature orchid. I've also brought in 2 younger orchids from around the garden. This way, I can show you that no matter the age of the plant, whether it's a big, established orchid or a small one just starting out, the watering method stays exactly the same. By comparing them side by side, you'll see how consistency in care is what really matters. So let's begin with our older orchid, and then we'll move on to the younger ones. After you've finished watering, always make sure the excess water drains out of the pot evenly instead of staying trapped inside. Orchids don't like sitting in soggy conditions. Their roots need both moisture and air. If the water isn't draining well, it could mean the potting medium is packed too tightly or the drainage holes are blocked. In that case, gently check the bottom of the pot and make sure nothing is stopping the water from flowing out. A good sign is when you see a steady stream of water exiting through the holes at the bottom. This shows that the roots are being hydrated while still getting the airflow they need to stay healthy. Now, let's move on to fertilizing our orchids. For today's recipe, we're going to use something very simple and easy to find: eggs. More specifically, the eggshells. Eggshells are an excellent natural source of calcium and a little bit of potassium, both of which are beneficial for orchids. Calcium helps strengthen the plant cell walls, making the leaves and roots more resilient, while potassium supports overall growth and blooming. So, let's start by cracking open a few eggs. Don't worry about the yolk and the white. You don't have to throw them away. Save those to make yourself a nice dish later on, because today we're focusing only on the shells. After separating the shells, give them a quick rinse under clean water to remove any leftover egg white. This helps prevent any unwanted smell or bacteria from forming later. Once you've collected your eggshells, you'll want to give them a quick wash. Rinse them lightly under clean water to make sure the inside of the shell is free from any leftover egg white or membrane. This step is important because if we leave even a small amount behind, it can cause unpleasant odors or attract pests later on. After rinsing, place the shells on a tray or in a clean, dry area. Spread them out evenly so they have room to dry properly. You can leave them in a sunny spot or just let them air dry indoors. Once the shells are fully dried and crisp, the next step is to crush them down into small crumbs. You can do this easily by placing the shells in a clean bag or wrapping them in a cloth, then pressing or lightly pounding with a rolling pin. The goal here isn't to turn them into a fine powder just yet. Small, coarse crumbs are enough for our orchids. Now let's take our dried eggshells and place them into a blender. Make sure the blender is clean and dry before you start. Once everything is ready, turn on the machine and let it run until the shells break down into a fine powder. You'll notice the texture change from big crumbs to something much smoother, almost like flour. This fine powder is perfect because the smaller the particles, the faster they can release calcium and minerals into the potting medium. Next, we're going to add another simple ingredient, an apple. What we really need is just the skin, because that's where a lot of the nutrients are stored. The peel contains small amounts of potassium and phosphorus, which help orchids with strong root growth and more vibrant blooms. So go ahead and take your apple, then carefully cut off the skin. Try to keep the slices of peel as thin as possible, since that will make them easier to blend later. And don't worry about the fruit itself. The apple is still perfectly good to enjoy as a light snack while we work on the fertilizer. Nothing goes to waste here. Once we've removed the apple skin, the next step is to cut it into small pieces. By chopping the peel into smaller bits, we make it much easier for the blender to process later, and this also helps release the nutrients more evenly into our fertilizer mix. Once you've finished cutting the apple peel into small pieces, place them into a clean container together with the eggshell powder we prepared earlier. Now, pour in about 500 milliliters of warm water. Using warm water helps the nutrients release faster from both the apple skin and the eggshells. Give a mixture a really good stir until everything is well combined. Then, let it sit and rest for about 30 minutes. During this time, the warm water will draw out the nutrients, creating a gentle, homemade fertilizer solution perfect for orchids. After 30 minutes, our mixture is ready. Now we'll use a fine strainer to filter out all the leftover particles that can't be broken down, like bits of apple peel or coarse pieces of eggshell. This step is important because it gives us a smooth liquid fertilizer that's easy to pour or spray without clogging the nozzle. All those nutrients are now infused in the water, ready for our orchids. While we're straining the solution, let me share a fun fact about orchids. Did you know that orchids are one of the largest plant families in the world, with over 25,000 different species? Some grow high up on trees, some on rocks, and others right in the soil. Each one has its own unique personality, which is why caring for orchids never feels boring. There's always something new to learn. Now that our fertilizer solution is ready, it's time to move on to the caring part of our routine. Take a clean tissue or a soft cloth, dip it into the solution, and let it soak completely so it carries enough nutrients for the leaves. Starting with the main orchid, gently brush the tissue across each leaf, moving from the base outward toward the tip. Take your time. This isn't just about applying nutrients, it's also a chance to inspect the plant. While you're wiping, check the leaves for any signs of pests, discoloration, or damage. A little extra attention now can prevent problems later. Be gentle with the leaves. They're delicate, and we don't want to cause any bruising. This process not only delivers nutrients from our homemade fertilizer, but also helps clean dust and debris off the leaves, allowing them to absorb light more effectively. Once you've finished with the main orchid, move on to the two younger orchids from the garden. Even though they're smaller and less mature, the method is exactly the same. Take your time to cover each leaf, making sure every part of the plant gets a light coating. This step may feel simple, but it's actually very important. Regular leaf care like this keeps your orchids strong, healthy, and more resilient, and it encourages better growth and flowering in the long run. While we're gently cleaning the leaves, I'd love to get to know you a little better. Where are you watching from? Which country do you call home? It's always amazing to see how orchid lovers are spread all over the world, and I'd love to hear about your experience with growing orchids in different places. Feel free to share in the comments. Maybe we'll even discover some unique tips or tricks from different countries. Now that we've finished wiping the leaves, it's time to move on to the next part of our care routine, misting. Take a clean spray bottle and fill it with the remaining fertilizer solution. Gently mist around each plant, making sure to cover both the leaves and the surrounding potting medium. Keep the spray light. You don't want to soak the plants. Just provide a fine layer of moisture and nutrients. Misting has several benefits. It helps increase humidity around the orchids, which they love, and it also allows any remaining nutrients in the solution to be absorbed through the leaves and lightly into the soil. Take your time with each orchid, moving the bottle evenly around the plant. Remember to keep the spray gentle and consistent for all 3 orchids, whether they're mature or younger plants. This step is especially helpful on dry days, or if you're growing your orchids in an area with low humidity. Regular misting can make a big difference in their overall health and bloom potential. Finally, we're going to water the roots of all 3 orchids. This is a crucial step because while misting and leaf care are important, the roots are where most of the plant's nutrients and water are absorbed. Take a clean watering can or pot and gently pour the remaining fertilizer solution around the base of each orchid. Make sure to water evenly around the pot, avoiding the crown of the plant where leaves meet the roots. This helps prevent rot and ensures the roots get the nourishment they need. Watch as the water slowly drains out of the bottom. This is exactly what we want. Orchids love moisture, but they also need good drainage so their roots can breathe. Repeat this process for the younger orchids as well, making sure each plant gets an even amount of water. By combining all the steps, wiping the leaves, misting, and finally watering the roots, we've given each orchid a complete care session that will keep them healthy, strong, and ready to bloom beautifully. And if you want to be extra careful, you can take a clean tissue or a soft cloth to gently wipe the leaves after watering. This helps remove any leftover solution, dust, or debris that may have settled on the surface. Wiping the leaves not only keeps them looking healthy and shiny, but it also allows them to absorb light more effectively, which is essential for strong growth and blooms. Always remember to wipe gently, moving from the base of the leaf outward, and don't forget the undersides where dust and small pests can hide. Incorporating this simple step into your routine ensures that every part of your orchid stays clean, healthy, and ready to thrive. Now, this final part is absolutely critical: routine care. Taking care of orchids isn't just about a single session of watering, misting, or fertilizing. It's about consistency over time. Check your orchids regularly for signs of stress, pests, or discoloration. Water them on a schedule that fits your environment, keeping in mind that mature orchids and younger ones may have slightly different needs. Continue cleaning the leaves gently, misting when necessary, and feeding with natural fertilizers like the ones we made today. Routine care also means paying attention to their surroundings. Light levels, humidity, and air circulation all play a role in keeping your orchids healthy. Even a small change in one of these factors can affect growth and blooming, so staying observant is key. By making these steps a part of your regular orchid care routine, you'll help your plants thrive, encourage more blooms, and enjoy the process of watching them grow beautifully over time. After 3 weeks of consistent care, the changes in our orchids are truly exciting. Let's start with the 2 younger orchids. At first, they were small and less developed, but now they're showing so much more life. You can see fresh new shoots emerging from the base, tiny leaves unfurling, and little roots beginning to spread through the potting medium. Even subtle changes, like leaves standing more upright or a vibrant green color, are great indicators that the plants are healthy and thriving. It's amazing to see how just a few weeks of proper watering, leaf cleaning, misting, and natural fertilizing can make such a noticeable difference in younger orchids. And now for the big reveal, our mature orchid. This plant, which we started with stacked, healthy leaves, has rewarded all of our attention beautifully. It's fully bloomed with strong, vibrant flowers that stand out brilliantly. The roots are growing well too, spreading evenly through the pot and showing just how healthy the plant has become. Seeing a mature orchid reach this stage is incredibly satisfying. It's the culmination of consistent care and patience. This progression really highlights the beauty of orchid care. Younger plants take time to show their growth, while mature orchids reward you with stunning blooms and strong root development. Each stage is equally rewarding, and it reminds us why routine care is so important. It allows all our orchids, no matter their age, to thrive and flourish. And there you have it. That's our complete guide to caring for orchids, from the young little shoots to our mature, blooming beauty. Over the past few weeks, we've seen how consistent watering, leaf care, misting, and our homemade fertilizer can make such a difference in both growth and blooms. If you enjoyed this video and found these tips helpful, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any future videos on orchid care and other plant tips. I'd love to hear from you too. Tell me in the comments which orchids you're growing at home, or share any tips and experiences you've had with your own plants. Every plant has its story, and it's always inspiring to hear yours. Thanks so much for watching. Keep caring for your orchids, and happy growing.